Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. It's me, Teacher Pranithia, and I am so glad that you were able to join me today. I am here in my glorious backyard, full of nature, and I love it, I love it, I love it, I do. And I just wanted to share some things that I have been cooking up since I've been away. Now, of course, you guys know I call myself Teacher Pranithia because I am an online ESL teacher. I was a pre-K and preschool teacher for like almost 12 years, and now I'm home with my babies. So I have an 8-year-old and an 8-month-old. How nice. And while we were home with the pandemic, there were some things that I was able to do and tend to that I have been waiting to do for a while. And once I got pregnant, I could not do them. So I'm excited to share them with you. So stay tuned. Alrighty guys, so welcome back. Like I was saying, I have some things that I have been cooking up in my backyard, and I can't wait for you guys to see them. You can see the swing set out back. The spiders love it. My daughter, she kind of outgrew it just a bit, so we're going to change the seats and add a slide and something for the baby so she can be out here more often on the swing. But that's not what I'm here to tell you guys about. What I want to show you is something I have been working on for really not quite some time. I started maybe at the end of April, and I started putting the idea together, and my husband and I started purchasing things for it, and it turned into this. Alright, so as you can see, I have my garden here. I'm actually going to turn it around so you can see it better. So here you guys can see my garden. Look at that. So it's a raised bed. It took about maybe a month for me to kind of gather what you see here as far as the plants, the wood, the stones. I started at the end of April, and I decided that I was like, okay, something led me to do a garden. Plus, having all this time on our hands from the pandemic, I was like, okay, I can do it. I'm able to do it. So I went ahead, started purchasing the stuff. These are 6x10s, I think, or something like that. And they are actually cut. I got them cut in half at Home Depot. And these stones here are also from Home Depot. So all you do is layer the stones and sit the wood in the inside. So I was able to make this raised garden. So it goes all the way around. I have 4 squares in there. I know you're looking at this big lustrous area here. I'm going to tell you what I have in just a second. Oh my gosh. I am so excited. So excited. Oh my goodness, I am so excited. This morning I just picked some peppers from the pepper plants, and I just noticed that we have our first strawberry. Look. Oh my gosh. Look at it. Can you see it? And there's some more flowers coming on it. These are being devoured right now by some bugs. So I concocted some stuff. You'll get to see more about that in a few weeks. I'm going to let you know whether or not it works. But I'm trying to keep my garden as chemical free as possible. So far, the most chemical that's come across this garden has been there were some flies out in our backyard. Like, they just seem to just have taken over our backyard, and I went ahead and bombed the whole backyard to get rid of the flies because my dog poops back here. So yeah, I had to figure out a way to get rid of the flies, and so that's the most contact with a chemical that this garden has seen. So I'm really, really proud of that. I did find out that near my watermelon plants, there's some ants. So I went Googling and YouTubing and found out that the way to kill ants naturally in your garden or anywhere really in your yard or property is to put another ant hill or ant pile from another location on that ant pile that you're trying to get rid of. So I have a couple of ant piles at the front of my property, and I'm going to go ahead and dig a little bit of it up, dump it on the ant hill that's back here in my garden, and let them duke it out and see what happens. But back to my garden, I'm going to go ahead and show you everything that I have. I'm so excited. All right, here we go. All right, so right here we have squash. This is squash, this is squash, this is squash. And it's crookneck squash, the yellow squash, because it's my favorite, and I love crookneck squash. I'm able to cut it up, make it look like noodles and pasta for my family, and I like the way it tastes when you cook it down. So that has become one of my favorites. So they are like blooming. We just had like 3 days of like serious rain, and they just are sprouting up. So underneath you can see the root systems are beautiful. Look at that, beautiful. And I actually have a couple of squash that are peeking through. So there's one little lady, and there's another little lady, and all of this, y'all, I am an amateur gardener. Some people would say, girl, you have a green thumb, but I'm just an amateur. I try out new things every year based on what I see my family and I like to eat. And I know I like to eat squash. And my daughter, she loves strawberries. My baby, she pretty much eats anything. And my husband, he's not that picky either. So, you know, I try to grow things that I know me and my family would like to eat. My mom, my sisters, they're big peppers, and we're eggplant, you know, we're veggie people, fruits and veggie people. So this garden's gonna go far. I am considering expanding to go across this way, kind of do like a little pad so we can continue to get to the AC, but just kind of do another one right here because I want to do lettuce and cucumbers and stuff like that. So, but back to it. So I have a couple that are growing. One is kind of like hidden in between. You can kind of, let me see if I can zoom in. See? There she is. And I got another branch I noticed that is trying to fall apart. And all of this, guys, I have to clean this out. So my goal is tomorrow, late afternoon, I'm gonna come out here and start trimming and cleaning. This is all watermelon, like all of this. The watermelon is just getting out of the way. See? All that. The watermelon started here. Let me show you the root. This is where it started, and it's spread. And I'm going to trim off with the Googling and stuff that I've learned. I'm going to trim off what has not doesn't have any flowers on it. Flowers have a tendency to mean that something's trying to produce and come from it, and a lot of times the vining process takes the energy away from the growth of a fruit. So I wanted to focus more on growing fruit and less on vining, unless I get like a huge heavy duty trellis, which that probably won't happen this year. But you want to, in this case, since it's on the ground, I wanted to focus less on vining and more on growing fruit. And it's grown so much that it actually has covered up my mint plant right here. So I have to go ahead and start trying to trim this before my mint plant disappears underneath the whole rubbish. So, but this squash is getting huge. Like I said, this is another squash plant. There are a lot of females on this one because I just planted these not too long ago. I got excited about squash and went ahead and just planted like 3 of them. So that's my squash and the watermelon in this one. These are blueberries. I have to get another type of because this is for tomato cage. I have to get another type of thing to stabilize this. I have a green little sticks, and I think I have some sticks in my yard, but I have to clean them off. I don't want them to like I don't want the grass from the stems or the sticks to make more, and then I have to like really do like a deep cleaning when it starts to bloom grass and leaves in here. So I want, if I do find a stick in the yard to use, I want to choose carefully. So here I have a citronella. I bought citronella because I thought that it would get rid of mosquitoes. Now, although I must say I have not seen very many mosquitoes in my garden, and I have not seen, since I put these here, and I have not seen very many I haven't seen a lot of mosquitoes, but I did go on YouTube, found a video, and this guy was saying something about how citronella plants are being sold to people, saying that they're mosquito repellent, and they're not really repelling any mosquitoes. And I don't know. So I don't know how true that is, because I have not, and I live in the humid South, and we have a tendency to have a lot of mosquitoes, especially after rain and water, and any standing water, you see mosquitoes come. And I have not seen very many mosquitoes. Now, moths, on the other hand, I've seen plenty, and the moths seem to love my garden. And I noticed that the moths don't bother the watermelon, they don't bother the mint too much, and they don't bother the squash. And I'm thinking they give off this big aroma. They're not even bothering my cantaloupe, which I'm about to show you, that's coming. And I think I have like one baby cantaloupe that's trying to do something. But I got a lot of flower blooms and a lot of binding happening on this. I had to put this in a tomato case because it was just like getting away, just like the watermelon. It was getting carried away. I had to cut down some of my tomatoes because I bought a tomato plant. I thought I could save it, and I couldn't. And I think it came, it had a bit of a disease. So I went ahead and just cut it down. It died at the root and everything. I just went ahead and cut it down. And I think the other tomato plant that I had, I think it also came kind of faulty, and it didn't make it either. It just didn't. The bugs, the moss got to it, and it kind of just killed it. So I let that one go. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys the next few. All right, so here is one of the tomatoes. So this is where the tomatoes started. This was the one that was diseased, and I just went ahead and chopped it down about a week ago, because it wasn't really, whoop, we got bees, I love bees, and he found something to eat. Oh my God, look at that, can you see it? Look at that. Wow, he found him something to eat, huh? Wow, that's nature at its best. All right, I'm gonna give them a moment. I'm gonna talk from this side because I'm not trying to get stung in the war that they're about to have. So in the meantime, oh my gosh, look, I have a caterpillar. Beautiful. Look at that. Guys, this is why I garden. The garden, at the end of the day, is not just for you and your family to eat. Not every pest and animal that comes to your garden is not always the best, especially when they come in such large numbers. But I have not seen anything like try to take over my garden except for the moths. They have like bit holes into my plants, and they're not even. And some people would say these are like caterpillars, but I have not seen very many. I've seen plenty of moths. And I'm not going crazy because the lady says she has to actually make like a mothball sock thing in the middle of her garden to keep the moths from coming. So, that's my next steps. I'm going to get some mothballs from like the Dollar Tree and go ahead and get rid of some of these. But I also noticed that these types of plants are not being affected. So I might have to like put one in a pot in the middle of each of my areas to get some growth. And notice I have like an empty space right here that I'm probably going to start planting something in, and I have an empty space here. I tried to do like onions and chives, which are what these are, these onions and chives. I tried to plant them in the ground, but it just wasn't working, so I'm just going to keep them in a small container. But I have one, two, three like empty space and stuff, so I'm going to fill that with something. So in this area I have some eggplant here. So the eggplant actually has produced like quite a few flowers. They've fallen off because it rained real bad, but there's one, I don't know if you can see it real good. So here's one little flower. And this one had one, but it fell off. But the leaves are still very sturdy and smooth. Nothing is underneath my leaves showing, any serious bug infestation that's like really just tearing them up and eating them up. So I'm not too concerned. Back here, let's see. Back here I have some more eggplants. These puppies are trying to do their thing. I love eggplants, so I can't wait to see progress. This one had a bud. It's trying to do something, but I don't know. And then here I have some more pepper plants, and they have lots of blooms coming. So these if we get like one more good rain, I should see these blooming with something shortly, like in a couple of days. Like I found the peppers on these just peeking through the garden today, and I was super excited. So I am actually going to start trellising these. They grew faster than I thought they would. Everything happened overnight. So see how it's leaning and tilting? I'm gonna have to start trellising this and getting ready to do some like bug prevention. I'm noticing because the bugs are enjoying my root systems here in some of these. Here I have, I put down some basil for my spaghettis, and we do like homemade pizza, and they're trying to get eaten up by the moths as well, but you know, we're gonna work it out. The parsley right here, it actually was starting to die. Like it was laying limp, like this one is on the ground, and suddenly with all this rain, they started to sprout. Like they picked back up and came alive again. So just like these parsley here with this lovely caterpillar growing on it, I mean, they're doing their thing. I can't really complain or get upset about anything. So really, oh, and I didn't show you guys my cantaloupe. I think the bees still haven't added over there. But this is my cantaloupe here. And they're starting to vine and do some things. And then back in the corner, you can see that I have a few that died on me. I was supposed to plant these around my mailbox. So those are gonna go around my mailbox. And these are gonna go around the mailbox. And we're gonna make that pretty with some other decoration on the outside. So I'm gonna go ahead and bring you guys around because I actually have some roses that I planted as well, and I'm super excited about them, so stay tuned. Oh guys, I almost forgot that I am attempting to grow grapes on my fence. So I started here with them by trellising them. I'm gonna show you guys the trellis. So I started trellising them, and it looks, I don't know, my stems are brown, so it might not make it. But I'm gonna go ahead and keep trying because I still have some greenery left. So I'm gonna go ahead, I might take it out of the ground and put it in a big pot and give it some time to kind of adjust, yeah? I might have to do that. So now I'm going to take you guys to the other side of my garden, and we're going to go and see the roses that are coming. So let's go visit those roses. So what do you guys think so far? Like, leave some comments. Do you think I'm doing a good job? Like I said, I'm just an amateur. I'm an amateur gardener. I have no true idea what I'm doing. I've just been planting things and kind of getting lucky with the little bit of green thumb that I inherited from my grandfather. So up here are my roses, and I have grown a raspberry and a blackberry. So the blackberries are what you saw on this side. The raspberries are what you're about to see. Do not talk about my raspberries because I have yet to get to the store and buy something to help stabilize it. Like I said, I'm probably going to use some of these sticks and branches out here when they fall during big rainstorms to stabilize it, but I'm just working it out day by day, step by step. I'm still just like kind of new still to all of this. So let me kick this real quick. Whatever wants to fly off of it can fly off of it, and I'm going to show you guys. So here's my rose plant. I planted it in a bucket because I was scared to put it in the ground right here. Initially, I wanted to see how big it could possibly grow and if it was worth putting it in the ground and how many roses it would give me and the whole yada yada shebang. So in actuality, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 coming off of this one flower bush, and I lost one this morning because the weather kind of knocked it down. And then I have 1, 2, let's see, 2 on this one. So these are hybrid roses, apricot hybrid tea rose is this one. And this one is called a Peak Performance Rose. So I went ahead and decided that I wanted some roses in my yard. I was nervous about it at first, but I went ahead and did it because I wanted to have fresh flowers in my house. I wanted to be that lady that can come out to her garden and cut flowers and put them inside. And lo and behold, I'm going to show you guys when I get inside, but these roses are lasting a long time in my pot. I cut them maybe 2 or 3 days ago, and so far so good. Like no petals falling off or nothing. Both of these actually grow different types of flowers throughout the season. So when I first got them, I had like these little pinkish, kind of like these on both plants. Both plants had that kind of color. And then this one, I was like, well, it's supposed to be a rose, so when are they coming? And sure enough, here come my roses, and they get about this big brown. They're beautiful when they're done. And these pink ones, I have not seen them come close to this yet, but I'm pretty sure this is the third attempt at growth since it's been here in my yard. And I think, it takes a few tries. I heard that plants put out tester flowers to see if the conditions are right before they start putting out the pretty stuff. They give you a little tease and say, okay, let me see if you're really going to take care of me, which is my issue with my baby that's leaning and tilting in 3 different directions. Poor thing. I have to get something to stabilize, because if I don't, I'm going to lose her. Her root system is starting to kind of brown, and I really need to catch that before it spreads. It's starting to get red, and I really need to catch it. There's no sense in investing in something that you're not going to take care of. So those are my 3 roses in the front here. I have some that are growing and things I planted last year, and I have to come up here and really just knock this out and get this cleaned up. So that's the goal for the front, so don't judge me. But yeah, so guys, that's pretty much it for what I have going on, that I have started on these past now it's going on almost 3 months. So my goal is to just keep everything up, keep everything going, expand my garden a little more. No, and my dog loves my garden, and I'm I'm gonna beat your butt if you come out here and think you're gonna sit here and eat everything up and stuff like that. No, you are not, sir. So trying to get that taken care of and keep everything clean and neat and trimmed. And I'm just learning more and more every day about being the owner of a blossoming and blooming garden. Is more to it than just putting stuff in the ground and watering and giving it sunlight. You really got to take care of these babies and give them nutrition and nutrients and stuff that they need to keep them going. So that's the plan. I also have a plan to landscape around my fence area, which I'll show you guys that one day. But I want to landscape around my fence area, and I think I can't wait to show you guys that. But I do really understand why gardeners, real true farmers and gardeners, wake up extremely early, or they tend to their garden late afternoon, because it's just cooler, it's less bugs, especially in the morning. For me, where I live, there's less bugs. It looks like all the bugs are sleeping, and I can come out here between maybe 7 and 9, and I can get a lot done between 7 and 9 before the bees start coming. And I am so grateful for the bees, y'all. My squash was struggling because I didn't have any bees. Everything around our property is pretty much greenery, besides the few flowers that were up front. So once the cantaloupe kind of started attracting them, and then the squash started putting on flowers, and now a lot of things are putting on flowers because the bees are coming around and doing their thing to pass around the nectar and pollen. And I'm so excited. I've never been more excited to have bees. And it's not too many bees, it's just enough bees. I get 5 bees that visit, and that's more than enough to keep our garden going. So I'm excited. We got 1 strawberry. We've had 3 peppers come off of there. We're gonna have 4 squash that come off, and I hope they get really big. I gotta look up ways to keep them fed. And my roses too. Make sure I keep everything fed, keep everything going, keep everything steady, because I don't want to lose my garden. And I'm not 100% sure what I'm going to do when the winter comes, because we lived in an apartment last time I planted a lot of stuff, and I was able to kind of take care of everything because it was winter and some stuff went dormant. So I'm not 100% sure what I'm going to do for the winter. I know a lot of things are going to go dormant, but I do need to get in there, pull the weeds and stuff like that in this garden. So that is what's next on the list. And then after I'm finished pulling weeds and getting everything like raising the nutrient content of everything up in there and getting everything, replenishing the mulch and make sure everything's covered and cozy, then I'm going to move on to landscaping the front and landscaping the back. So I hope you guys really enjoyed it. If you have any tips for me, I am open and willing to take the tips. Like I said, I'm going to do the ant killing too and put the ant pile on the other ant pile and try and get those knocked out and done away with. And I'm just a little amateur gardener trying to take care of our family. There's a big plane flying above me, so I apologize for the noise. Nothing like living where there's a loud plane that flies over you every so often. But that's pretty much it. Thank you guys for joining, for tuning in. Like I said, leave any comments, any questions, whatever you have. If you're starting out, I could definitely help you. But if you're like one of those people that know what they're doing, then you can help me. So we're here to help each other, take care of our families and take care of the bugs and stuff like that and the life that's out here. And I love you guys, and make sure you come back because the girl's going to have to reap a harvest in about another 2 weeks, right? So y'all stay tuned and stay with me. Love you. Peace.